What's going on? What's happening, fellas? It's your boy KD. Let's get right into it, man. So I'm out here, man, just finished some sprints, and I thought I'd make this video because I had a few people wanting me to make a video about how to control your emotions as a man. All right, fellas, so emotions are very important as a man. All right, the ability to remain stoic, all right, is very essential as a top tier man. All right, guys, now we all know that women live inside of their emotions. And what I mean by that is most of the time, the decisions that women make, it is based on their emotions. The things that they say, the things that they do, usually is based on their emotions. And I'll give you a quick example. Let's say, and I use this example a lot because it's very common. Let's say you get home one day and your girl wants you to take out the trash, but you don't take out the trash because you got other things to do. And then, a couple moments later, however long it is, minutes, hours, she comes in the room and she starts complaining about how you never take the trash out and you don't do this and you don't do that. Meanwhile, you're a great provider. You really do everything. You just forgot to take the trash out that day, but she would tell you, you ain't shit. You don't take the trash out. You don't do this. You don't help me out and all this stuff. That is clearly her speaking in her emotions. All right, fellas. And that's what women do. Speaking their emotions. They will dramatize a situation based on how they feel. Another example is when women say these days that they don't like bad boys. All right, fellas, when a woman tells you she doesn't like a bad boy, she wants to be politically correct. All right, guys, because most women, 99.999% of women love bad boys. Not saying that they'll marry one, not saying that they would take one seriously at the age of 40 as a woman, but they still love them. They get aroused by them, they get turned on by them. They're infatuated by bad boys. All right, so most of the time women speak in their emotions, but as a man, you have to use logic. Okay, you have to use logic and reason when you're trying to figure out situations. You have to use logic and reasons before you make a decision to do or say something. Okay, guys, there's an epidemic of emotional men nowadays. All right, fellas, and I want to just say this. There is nothing wrong with having emotions. All right, guys, there is nothing wrong with having emotions. As a human being, you were born with emotions. You were born with the ability to get angry, the ability to get sad, happy, ecstatic, surprised, excited, nervous. Those are all emotions that you were born with as a human being. But your job as a man is to not suppress these emotions, okay, guys? But you need to make conscious decisions on the things that you do based off your emotions. All right, fellas, I talk a lot about not crying in front of women. All right, one of the things that a lot of guys do is they think, okay, I want to show my emotions. I want to open up. I want to be a genuine person. So let me cry in front of this woman. All right, guys, stoicism. All right, stoicism tells you, even if you are having the worst day of your life, as a man, you must control your emotions. I'm not saying you can't have the emotion, but you must control them. So breaking out, crying, sobbing, boo-hooing, alligator tears or crocodile tears or whatever they call them, it's not preferable for a man. All right, guys, women don't like it. Other men won't respect you. Women won't respect you. Even your children, bro. And I've learned this as a father. Even your children will slightly lose some respect for you when they see you crying. A lot of guys would get mad at this and they may say, oh, why can't I cry in front of a woman? Why can't I just be myself? Because that's not how life works. That is not how life works. If you can just act out on your emotions all the time, then you're not going to have a great life. All right, guys, the guys that act out on their emotions, the guys that just, having emotions, they're angry, so they want to act out on it. Those guys usually end up being school shooters. Those guys usually end up being rapists. I can't say the R word on YouTube, but those guys usually end up doing something destructive, very destructive. Guys, so controlling your emotions is very essential because as a man, especially the emotion of anger, it can get real bad for a man. Okay, guys, you were born with a lot of testosterone as a man, and when you get angry, it is 10 times worse than when a woman gets angry. When women get angry, they just talk trash, they talk, they just try to make you feel bad, they belittle you, manipulate you, whatever. But when a man gets angry, usually it turns physical. Okay, guys, that's why controlling your emotions is so important. All right, fellas, and if you made it this far in the video, don't forget to hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. thetoptierman.com is my website where you can get both of my fragrance, Top Tier Charisma, also the Top Tier Superman, which is my current summertime fragrance. Both of those are going crazy right now. Also on the toptierman.com, you can book a one-on-one coaching call with me, a private coaching call, 1 hour with me to figure out all your problems, to get through life and to become the best version of yourself. And one of the things that I've noticed in society, especially on social media, is, propaganda, society, new social norms are making it very hard for men. And I don't want to say hard for men, but it's making it a challenge for men to control their emotions and be stoic like they're supposed to. Because most of society is telling men to just show your emotions, act out on your emotions, act out on how you feel. But as I said earlier in the video, when men act out on how they feel, it usually doesn't end up well. It usually ends up in violence. All right, guys, I give you another situation, and I give you a personal situation that I was actually in. And I think I told you guys this story before, when I used to party. That time I was in a club with some of my friends and my girl. And, there was a lot of movement going around in the club, and, the police officers, which were the security guards, were trying to contain everybody and keep the traffic flowing. And one of the police officers kind of bumped into my girl and almost knocked her over, and I caught her, and I was like, hey, man, what's up? He was like, oh, man, I apologize for that. And I'm like, you good? And I just said, I was like, you good? And he turned around at me. He was like, I'm good. He got all swole. Y'all know how cops be when they're in their uniforms. He got all swole up on me. He was like, I'm good. And I'm like, yeah, man, you good. And I guess he took it as I was telling him, if it was any other situation, I probably would have dropped you, but it wasn't like that. I was just telling him you good. That's how I talk. I'm from the South, so he got upset. He started tripping and, cursing and yelling and doing all this stuff. And me, I'm chill, bro. And this is why controlling your emotions is so important, because I handled the situation properly. I didn't go crazy. In those days, I was very hot-headed. So I could have turned up, bro, and made it a scene, fought with the police, rolled around on the ground, probably got shot or something like that. But I can try, and that's probably what would have happened if I'd have acted out on my emotions, because he was kind of disrespecting me. He never put his hands on me, never got physical. So, when it comes to things like that, I don't retaliate. I don't want to fight. Guys that know how to fight don't want to fight. I did not want to fight that day. But my emotions, I was still upset. I was very upset, but I was able to control myself and not get too hectic. You know what I mean? Because I could have made a different situation. He clearly couldn't control his emotions because he was supposed to be professional as a cop / security officer at the venue, and he clearly didn't control his emotions. He got out of character. It was very, very unprofessional of him. The way he handled a patron, which was me. I was a patron. All right. But yeah, man, controlling your emotions is very important. Like, let's say he would have tried to do something physical and like hit me first. He would have lost his job because everybody was watching. I'm sure there was cameras in there. He would have lost his job simply because he couldn't control his emotions that day. And I understand, I'm a bigger guy, and like I guess he like looked at me as a threat, and he thought I was trying to, turn up on him, but which I wasn't. But he just couldn't control his emotions, guys. So, you can lose a lot when you don't control your emotions. I've seen, guys, and I've actually experienced this and lived through this myself. I've lost several things because I could not control my emotions. I used to have a job, sales job back in the day. I say back in the day like I'm old, but, some years ago, and I had a sales job, and that's when I was very hot-headed. And I didn't like how a lot of things were ran, in the place that I worked at. So there was a lot of times where I would lose my temper on other employees because I was a manager. I ended up losing that job for that reason. I mean, there were some other elements that was involved, but that was probably one of the biggest things. I lost that job because I could not control my emotions. I wasn't knocking people out, just punching people in the middle of the office and stuff like that. But, I would definitely speak my mind and let people know how I feel in an unprofessional way, in a professional setting. You know what I'm saying? So controlling your emotions, man, it can make you lose opportunities. You can lose relationships. You can lose money, and as far as relationships with women, a lot of you guys don't know how to control your emotions with women. All right, fellas, because this is the thing. You got to understand, if you get into an argument with a woman, and she doesn't want to be wrong, and she wants to be right, and she wants to win the argument, a woman is going to say anything. You know, she is going to say things to piss you off. She's going to be disrespectful. She's going to say things to get on your nerves and to piss you off and to try to get you to come out of character. I've been through this so many times where I've been in an altercation with a woman that I was in a relationship with, and she did and said things just to get me out of character. All right, guys, but you cannot get out of character. You got to stay stoic. You have to understand life. You have to understand that women don't think with their logic. They think with their emotions. So they're going to do things to try to get you out your character. And the crazy thing about this, guys, and I find this very interesting, because if you do control your emotions, and if you do remain stoic, and if you don't act out on your emotions, you will become much more attractive. All right. And it's a natural biological thing, and I'm referring to women. What they see when you can control your emotions, that is saying that in tough situations when she can't control her emotions, that you can be strong for her. All right, guys. Now, I'm not excusing the dumb things that women do just because they think with their emotions, but it is what it is. All right, guys, it is what it is. You know, you will be a lot more reliable, a lot more trustable when you can control your emotions, because people know that when bad things happen, when shit gets crazy, you won't be the one that panics. All right, guys, this is probably the most important thing about it. You know, so if you want better relationships with people, especially women, you got to control your emotions, fellas. And it's not all about women, it's about you. All right, if you want better results with money, life, women, everything, bro, you have to control your emotions. Even with fitness, you know, let's say you're on a 6-week program, you know, and you're supposed to gain, I just throw out a number, you're supposed to lose 20 pounds in that 6 weeks, and by week 3, which is halfway, you haven't lost half of the weight. You only lost about 2 pounds. Your emotions would tell you, oh my God, this ain't working, I need to quit, I'm not gonna make it to the 6 weeks and lose the whole 20 pounds. All right, guys, but you have to use logic and reason. You have to understand that maybe you haven't worked out in 10 years and your body needs time to adjust. You may have to understand that maybe your metabolism is slow. Maybe your hormones are messed up. Maybe you're not doing the right workouts. Maybe you're not eating the right things. Maybe you're not sleeping correctly. It can be anything. All right, that's logic and reasons. But emotion would say, oh, man, I'm not at where I want to be. I need to quit. Okay, guys, a lot of guys, and the reason why a lot of guys quit on their goal is because they can't control their emotions. All right, guys, it has nothing to do with a lack of motivation. It has nothing to do with any of that. It's simply because guys can't control their emotions. All right, fellas, it's simple as that. Another way, fellas, that your emotions matter is when, especially when you are going through problems, and I already mentioned this, but I'm going to get into detail. When you are going through problems and difficulties with women, all right, guys, and I'll give a clear example, and this is what a lot of guys are going through, all right? Let's say you break up with a woman. You guys break up. And the reason why y'all break up is because she cheated, or she did something stupid, or she lied to you, or it was her fault clearly and it was worth the breakup. Most men cannot sit there, miss the woman, be a man, and keep moving forward in life and just ignore her. Most men can't do that. Most men can't go through the emotion of missing a woman and being sad for a long period of time. You know what I'm saying? And this is something. Sorry, guys, it was a little bug right there, man. I had to swipe it out the way. But this is something that, you know, if you learn to do, guys, you will become way more powerful. Okay, and this is something that I had to do. You know, I when me and the chick, I was with the woman for 6 or 7 years, bro. I say 7. Let's say 7 years for dramatic effect. 7 years I was with this woman, bro. You know, I was in love, you know, and when we broke up, it took me about 4 to 6 months, you know, let's say 5 months. It took me 5 months literally to get over her, bro. 5 months to get over one woman. But I'll tell you this, I never texted her. I never called her. I never emailed her. I never checked her social media. I just left her alone. And I stayed sad about missing this bitch for 4 months, bro. 5 months. You know what I'm saying? It was a long time to be missing a chick that you're not talking to. All right, guys, so you have to control your emotions. There were many times where I grabbed my phone and I wanted to hit her up. There was many times where I wanted to rekindle the flame. There was many times where I wanted to text her and say, hey, let's make up, you know, but I understood that the reason why we broke up was worth the breakup, you know, so you have to control your emotions, guys. You have to control your emotions. As a man, if you cannot sit down, like I said, and just miss a bitch. Just miss her, bro. It's okay. You know, you're not gonna die. You're not bleeding to death. All you doing is missing a woman, okay? And that's the part of life. You know, being upset, you know, being angry, being happy, of course. You know, missing someone. That's a part of life. So go through the emotions. You will be stronger at the end. All right, fellas, because if you can go through all these emotions, you can be angry, sad, upset, depressed, have anxiety, anxious, all these things, and nobody else can tell on your face that you're going through these things, you have got up another level. If you can do this, fellas, you have literally unlocked the cheat code to life, or one of the cheat codes to life. All right, fellas. So one of the things that I do to work on my emotions, because I'm sure you were waiting for this part, and if you made it to the end of the video, you guys always know I save the game for the end. One of the things I do is I purposely put myself in stressful situations. Now, you probably would ask, why would you put yourself in stressful situations? Isn't life stressful enough? Yes, it is, and that's the point. Okay, guys, I purposely put myself in stressful situations, and I handle those stressful situations. So when the inevitable stressful situations come up and the inevitable problems and difficulties arise, I am already trained. I had to get up, man. I got tired of sitting down. But like I said, one of the things I do to callous my mind, okay, and to prepare for stressful situations is I put myself in stressful situations purposely. Okay, on purpose. And the reason why I do this is because if I can train my mind, if I can callous my mind and keep myself focused and control my own emotions in the situations that I put my own self through, I can handle anything. Okay, guys, I can handle anything. It's just like training for a battle. Okay, guys, if you train, okay, you got to fight somebody. Let's say you got to fight a giant. All right, guys, and if you train every day fighting someone that is the exact same size or not, or sometimes even bigger than a guy you're actually fighting, you have trained to fight a big guy. You have trained to fight a giant. So it's going to be much easier for you to handle your real opponent, guys. All right, so you got to understand, guys, you have to train your mind. All right, a lot of guys go into situations and say, oh, yeah, I'm going to be stoic. I'm going to be able to handle it. I'm going to be all right. And then they get there, then they end up panicking, and they end up being frantic and getting overly emotional. Why? Because they have not trained their minds. Okay, you have to train your mind. You have to callous your mind. Okay, because stoicism, it's not preaching these, because stoicism is not preached in today's world. Okay, they don't want men to be stoic. They want men to be emotional. They want you to be soft. They want you to be weak. All right, I'm going to make a video in the future on why this is, why society wants you to be soft, why society wants you to be weak. But the point of today's video is, fellas, learn to control your emotions. All right, no matter what situation you get in, no matter what happens, no matter what problems arise, control your emotions. All right, fellas, it's your boy KD. I appreciate you guys for watching the video. I know this one's a little bit different, camera moving around and stuff, but y'all got the point, man. I didn't want to leave this out because I had the thought in my head and I wanted to get it done, fellas. All right, I hope you guys are becoming top tier men, becoming the best version of yourself, and working on living a fulfilled life. All right, fellas, I appreciate you guys for watching today. It's your boy KD. We out of here, baby. Y'all look at that nature, man. I like that. Beautiful, beautiful.